closing ng Cinemalaya. Ayan. Ayan. Hi, Mr. Angelo. Join us here, please. And for the traditional photo op, can you stand up here muna po? And then, ayan. Siya po ang executive producer, si Mr. Angelo Santos. Ayan. Guyog na naman. Pero po ang gago. Ayan po si Angelo. You may not take your seat, Mr. Santos. Pati ka muna po, mabilis. Din saan siya uupo? Si Ruel, kung makapicture with this Samsung. Bida ng bida.
Uy, at least hindi na camera hawak niya.
Oo. Ayan, bati lang. Angelo, bati lang, please.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for coming sa official press conference natin ng Silong, which will be distributed by Star Cinema. So, ayan, finally, after 2 years. So,
Wow!
After 2 years.
Sige, malalaman. Hihimayin natin yung 2 years na yun later on why, ha? Okay, thank you, Angelo. And of course, tawagin natin ang dalawang director ng pelikula, Roy Sevilla Ho, and incidentally siya rin po ang story and screenplay, and our dear friend Jeffrey Hidalgo. Si Jeff, nag-direct na. I'm so proud of you. Nakakatakot naman. Can we kill that music na nga? Ayan. Dito pa, diretso all the way here. Bakit? Ayan. Our two directors stand up for the photo op, and then, ayan. Ang ating dalawang director, si Roy Sevilla Ho and Jeffrey Hidalgo.
Tingin sa kanan.
Wow, Ruel. Mananakaw din yan. Okay, bati naman Direct Roy and Direct Jeffrey, please.
Hello po, thank you very much for coming, and sobrang excited na po kami ng palabas yung pelikula, so we're really happy that you're here with us today.
And of course, Direct Jeffrey!
Yes, good afternoon everyone. Thanks for being here.
Okay, thank you so much. And of course, ito na po ang tatlong ating main cast. Tatawagin ko na in this order, Gucci Lorenzana. Sabay-sabay na, no? Gucci Lorenzana, Rhian Ramos, and Mr. Piolo Pascual. Meron tayong live streaming, ano? Yes, we are seen and worldwide via our live streaming. Gucci, ayan, tayo muna. Okay, stand by Rhian and Papa P, and then...
Si Ruel, ang tagal.
Okay, thank you so much. And now here, ito na po sila, Rhian Ramos and Piolo Pascual. Ay, kuyo everyone.
Yes, good afternoon po. Thanks for joining us today. Kahit linggo, pasensya na, and maraming salamat.
Okay, so at this point po, I would like to introduce to you the official trailer of Silong. Please watch this.
Watch.
Lay down.
Init na siya.
Anong usapan niya? Ayan.
Doktor ako.
Tulungan mo ako. Papatayin ako ng asawa ko, please. Tulungan mo ako.
Kung ayaw mo dalhin kita sa ospital, kailangan pa rin tayo pumunta sa presinto.
Hindi, Miguel, hindi pwede. Ilang beses niya na yung ginawa sa akin dati. Wala na ako ibang matutunan. Kung inaasahan ng mga niya isang babae, sa isang lalaki, mahal siya.
Ako, ipagtatanggol kita.
Ipaglalaban mo ba ang pag-ibig
Miguel!
kahit buhay ang kapalit?
Ako!
Piolo Pascual, Rhian Ramos, Silong. Directed by Jeffrey Hidalgo and Roy Sevilla Ho. September 16 in cinemas.
Ayun, yun po ang official full trailer ng Silong. September 16 na po. Okay, lights on please now. Wilbur, where are you? Diyos ko, kanina. Okay. Siguro, it's just appropriate that we hear from the three leads ng kanilang respective roles. Guji, tell us about your role in the movie. Can we share the mic, please?
Yes, hello. I play Gilbert. Ako yung best friend ni Piolo dito. At saka advisor niya sa mga problema niya sa buhay. Yun. And I'm happy to be a part of it.
Okay, and of course, the beautiful Rhian Ramos. Rhian, please tell us about your role.
My name is Valerie in the movie, and I am a mysterious girl na medyo running away from my abusive husband. But pupuntahan ko siya for help, and magsisweet-sweetan kami.
Interesting.
Yun lang.
Okay, thank you, Rhian.
Love life ako dun sa bahay.
Why not? Oh, it's high time. Okay, it's high time mag-love life ka na. Okay, Papa P.
I play Dr. Miguel Carrasco. Tascaro. Hindi kilala. Tingin ko lang siya kilala eh. And well, I guess what I can say, since some of us have seen the movie already, we both have a mysterious past and we're hiding something, but I guess that's why it's called Silong. But for my character, nawalan kasi siya ng family, nawala yung asawa niya. And yun, so pagdating ni Valerie sa buhay niya, slowly makikita nila unti-unti kung ano man meron sikreto sa buhay ng dalawa.
Okay, thank you, Papa P, Rhian, and Gucci. Okay, Wilbur, who has a question?
I think Mario Bautista would like to add.
Abot mo lang ang mic, huwag ka na mag-intro. Charot. Ito, Mario.
Makawa naman si Wilbur, tinarayan agad, wala.
Yan, may banter kaming ganyan. Okay, ito, Mario.
Okay.
For fun.
Kay Piolo, how is this different from the past indie films you did, Chop Suey and Maynila?
Marami-rami na rin pala.
Saan ba? Oo.
Mario, okay, hi. This is the first time I'm actually doing a thriller. It's not flat-out thriller, it's a romantic thriller and kind of twisted. Sa Chop Suey, I was different then. I guess what's good about doing indies is you kind of have that playing field wherein you can not necessarily experiment, but you can cross the line as to how far you want to go. Kasi ang laki ng talo niya from mainstream. Here, parang mas may freedom ka to move around. So, mas marami kang magagawa. I'm not saying doing rom-coms always naka-box, di ba? But doing indie is really, really interesting. Mas marami kang konseptong pwedeng paglaruan. So, among all the indies I've done, they're all different genres din po. And two of the indies I've done are black and white, and then this one, and then yung Chop Suey. Iba rin siya. Kaya I have so much fun doing indies. Pero so far, by far, ito yung talagang pinaka, I should say, twisted character na nagawa ko.
So, paano napunta sa yung concept to pitch in? Sina Jeff na?
Sino ba yun? Sino gusto mo salita?
And what did you like about the concept?
First of all, it's different. Joy and I are really good friends. We go way back. Bata pa lang kami. And we actually related in a way because of our in-laws. And when they pitched the concept, and of course having Rhian Ramos there, na parang sabi ko, why not, diba? Parang you don't get to work with a fellow actor from another station. And the concept itself, I really have a heart for indie films because I feel mas mapaglalaroan mo. And kung pwede lang mong pagbigyan lahat ng magagandang konsepto, gagawin mo. But of course, schedule-wise, mahirap din. So you gotta choose the right projects and at the same time, yung talagang gusto mo. So, it's very different from all the roles I've done. So that alone, sabi ko, that's enough consideration for me to do it.
So, nung ibigay sa yung project, kasama na si Rhian, she's a given.
No, nakasama na si Ray, di ba? Yeah. We didn't have anybody else in mind. So parang si Rhian talaga po and the concept itself. And when we talked about it, buo talaga yung konsepto with Rhian as the other lead.
So how was it trusting new directors like them?
Actually,
paano ba yun? Siguro it wasn't up to me anymore. I just did my job. I just trusted them because they had a good concept, they had a good story. And then Jepoy, I've seen some of his works. And I guess if you have a good concept, if you have a good material and they think they can do it, you just gotta trust them. So when I saw the film, sabi ko, buti na lang ginawa ko ito. Kasi parang hindi naman nila gagawin ng isang pelikula kung hindi nila alam yung ginagawa nila. So I guess it's all a matter of getting the break. So we should be for that. You know, if you can get the break, a breakout, especially in this business, one way is through indie. So of course they have the talent for it, and you want to support that.
So how is it working with Rhian?
Such a breeze. Such a breeze. We never had the hard time schedule-wise, limitations-wise, and we had to really protect and be careful because of course, babae po yung kasama natin, medyo delikado yung mga eksena. But she was very game, you know, so she has all my respect kasi nakikita mo talaga sa kanya yung commitment niya sa role, yung commitment niya sa project. When she accepted it, she knew what she was getting herself into. So I was really humbled by it kasi parang na-challenge pa ako all the more because she was willing to give it all para sa isang pelikula na hindi naman ganun kalaki yung budget, but siguro there's just so much value and respect for the craft. So doon po kami nagkasama. So I really enjoyed my time working with her.
Kay Rhian naman, I heard you had a very delicate love scene with Piolo. So why did you agree to do it considering this is not a mainstream movie kundi indie nga? And how is it working with Piolo?
About the love scene, kasi I've been offered movies that contained love scenes before. It's just I couldn't bring myself to do it kasi parang minsan ibe-base mo kung talagang kailangan siya sa story. And sometimes hindi. But in this script, when I read it, nakita ko na it was really necessary. It was necessary to show the level of how in love the two characters were with each other. And so I felt like this is a legitimate part of the story. In no way is it a marketing tool. I'm gonna do it. So yeah, parang it is my duty as an actress to go for it. Yeah. I was very nervous beforehand, but that's when I'm gonna bring it to how it is working with Piolo, because a lot of the time he was really the one calming me down about it, and once parang I was really nervous before shooting the scene, but once we started, kasi it took a while, but once we started, I felt comfortable na rin because whenever Direct Jeff says cut, he's the first one to cover me up before myself. So yeah, I just felt like he was really making an effort to make me very comfortable with any scene that we were doing. Also super easy to work with. Walang kaarte-arte, which I was really surprised with just because of the level of his celebrity. Max. Wow. But ayun na nga, it's just because when someone is so extremely famous the way he is, you would expect a little bit of may konting arte, pero wala talaga eh. Blood in the nose, go, blood in the nose. Parang anything that was asked of him, he would do. So that was great. We were both very committed to our roles.
And does it help that si Piolo yung leading man mo, that's why you agreed to do it?
I was very confused by what he said because when they presented it to me, they also said he was in. So I don't know who's ano.
So come on pala yun
So and then
Ano
I
kami
think
ito?
kasi we were both told about each other. It's possible. Before any of us even said yes, we might have both been told about each other.
Oh, si Jeff has something to say.
Yes, hindi kasi we really had Piolo in mind when we were developing the script. And yun nga, when it was ready to be pitched, nung binigay namin, present namin sa kanya, and he said, he texted me na parang, hey bro, it's really interesting, let's meet about this. So the first time I talked to him, kami ni Darlene, sinabi niya na parang maganda tong character na to. Tapos especially tong si Valerie na character, medyo mahirap siya. It's really tricky to cast this girl. Kailangan magaling talaga yung artista na to. Who did you have in mind? Tapos sinabi ko na agad sa kanya, I had Rhian Ramos in mind.
You didn't think it is gonna be difficult that the two of them come from different channels?
Actually, from my end, hindi talaga siya sadya na talagang na parang gusto namin from different different networks. It's just that time kakita ko lang ng may kontrabida girl. Tapos tuwang-tuwa ako kay Rhian dun sa and then ang ganda, ang galing niya, and I could gauge na kaya niya yung role, yung kailangan yung hinihingi ng role, palagay ko is pasok dun sa range ng kanyang acting. So, I told Piolo, and si Piolo said, okay na, interesting, maganda to work with someone naman out of his network.
Okay, good luck. I hope it makes money para masundan.
Yay! I love Tito Mario. He asked questions about the movie, the project. I really love him.
Ikaw?
Uy, tingnan mo nga, may upuan pala ako dito. Hindi nyo naman sinasabi. Charing lang. Okay, the next question will come from, sige na Wilbur, intro mo na si Miss Natalie Tomada ng The Philippine Star.
Okay, I have two questions.
Kahit 3 po. Charot.
My first is for the producer or to whoever. Why it took 2 years to have this release?
Okay, speaking of the producer, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Miss Darlene. Miss Darlene Malimas, our producer. She's there. Ayan, ang bata. Okay, kala ko Darlene, na. Okay, go ahead, Miss Natalie.
Yeah, first question is why it took 2 years to be released, and second, from the directors, what makes this film different from other thrillers?
Okay, who would like to answer that question?
Siguro yung sa may why 2 years. So siguro first we really want to make sure that when we do a product, we try and test it with different audiences. So may mga reshoots, may mga stuff for improvement sa post-production. So it's really important that you watch Silong in cinemas kasi it's really designed for cinema viewing. So for example, may yung mga technical creative requirements sa audio na talagang magiging uneasy yung panonood kasi may mga low frequency effects na nagiging engaging sa audience. So it really is parang a year in post-production na lalong lumabas yung kulay ng Silong.
So talagang bawat component ng pelikula design talaga.
Yes. So tapos syempre we wanted to make sure na across all of them we had a lot of test screenings rin. From there we picked up a lot of points na mga improvements sa story, sa execution, pati sa market.
Okay.
Kung papalabas na namin.
Sino magdadagdag? Miss Nat, gusto mong magdagdag? The producer lang naman tinanong mo, no?
Actually, I just
go ahead, direct.
To add to yung sinabi ni Jello. Totoo yun. I think this movie is really designed to be enjoyed in the cinema. Kasi like last time, nung nakapanood kami sa BGC, no? Ganda nung
Naka-Atmos.
Naka-Atmos doon, no? Tapos yung Dolby, iba yung experience eh. If you, kapag nasa cinema ka.
Ngayon nga nararamdaman namin. Charot lang mayroong
Hindi, gano'n. Ang ganda talaga. Technically, yun. Ang galing ng SQ Film Lab.
Okay, Miss Nat. Okay na? the difference of Silong with other thriller. Ayan, sige, we'd like to hear from our other director.
Hi. Well, what makes it really different is that there's a certain way that Filipinos tell a love story, especially on film, and it's something that has become sort of a tradition. There's certain expectations, and while we were talking about it, while I was writing the script, definitely one of my goals really was to address things that aren't really talked about. A lot of the relationships that happen on film and on television are very clean. It's very convenient. But then I've always been curious about the other things that come into a relationship that we all experience in real life. The baggage that you have, the fears, the things that you hope would not happen as opposed to your expectations. You always look forward for a beautiful love story, but then it doesn't always get there. But then again, it might have its own beauty because it's not perfect. So these are themes that we were exploring in the film, and I think that's why my hope is really that's what people will relate to the most. It's like to address how relationships really work, and how much the past really affects the present and the future when two people come together.
Okay, thanks. You'd like direct?
I think sir, what's different about this movie is how we will take the judging from the feedback we've been getting after the audience has seen it sa Cinemalaya, sa press screenings namin, and other private screenings that we held. But I think we were pretty much successful in taking the audience in this really wild ride of love in all its twisted glory. Parang ganun. Basta that's why we're trying not to say much about the movie, because I guess it's also part of the enjoyment. I'm sure may mga nakapanood din.
Meron na.
Nakikita ko dito eh. Sino yung mga nakapanood na?
Lahat napanood na. Charing lang, jokes, ano lang po.
Yeah, so I guess the ones who were able to see the movie is, I guess they will agree with me na parang the less you know about the movie, the more you will enjoy it. So, yeah.
Okay, bago question, Miss Nat, okay na po ha? Ayan. Bago bigay ang mic kay Miss Josephine, why do directors, Direct Jeff, Direct Roy, bakit hindi nilang siya o hindi ikaw? Bakit kailangan dalawa? Sorry, paano distribution ng...
Kasi ganito yun, nung inisip namin itong Silong na to, it all started with this concept that si Darlene presented to me. And then, sabi niya, I have this friend, Roy, in Iloilo. Let's ask him to write it. And then, sabi nung kinausap niya si Roy, sabi niya, okay, I know what you're trying to do. I have this other material that I think fits the same mold, na parang two characters, one house, a twisted story that we wanted. So it had the same feel, and that eventually became Silong. And then yun nga, when we were developing it, si Roy expressed his desire to also be a director. So sabi ko, sige, sure, let's go-direct this one.
Ilonggo ba ang Silong? Ano ba yung word na yung Silong? Actually, alam ko naman.
Actually, it's interesting because Silong is a Tagalog word. And it's also an Ilonggo word, and it's also a Bisaya word. But then the meaning is a variation.
Ayan. Interesting ha? Oh,
right.
Sige.
So actually, a lot of people said that they were wondering it was called Silong, but by the end of the film, they understood why.
Wow.
Without saying too much. So
bakit naging Silong? You've seen it. He has seen it na. Okay.
Can I just answer
Go ahead,
sure. Question? Yeah, a lot of people were also asking how the division of labor worked out, and it's something that basically what happened was while we were setting up the scenes, a lot of the time we're normally in conference. We're talking about how we wanted to approach it, and then we had previously agreed that to make it smoother, we'll just agree, and then Jeff will call the action and cut just to make it easier, and so not too many people are screaming on the set. No, but then so that's pretty much how most of the film was done. But then towards the end of the film, we did divide. We took two crews, and so if you notice that there's different flavors in the film. I pretty much, Jeffrey pretty much did all of Piolo and his wife's background. I pretty much did Rhian's, and then most importantly for those people who watched it, I was the one who did Rhian's bathtub stuff. And for those who were fans of it, Jeff is responsible for the infamous shower scene of Piolo.
Ayan, bilangan ng sequences pala to, bilangan ha.
So, for those people who are fans of that and you want to give a Christmas present, that goes to Jeffrey. That was all him.
Okay. Thanks, Direk Roy.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Okay, and another question from Miss Josephine, si Mami Jo.
Hello po.
Hello din.
Congratulations. Tatanong ko po uli kung yung creators at yung directors. Bago po naging Silong yung pangalan ng movie, ano po yung mga hindi nyo pinagkaintindihang pangalan ng movie na gusto nyo ibigay dun title? Bago nag-come up kayo sa Silong. Because Silong can be a noun.
Nung sinulat ba ni Direk Roy, Silong na talaga, hindi si short. Charot lang.
Untitled.
Okay, kasi the story was that when I talked to them about it, I had this script that I've been writing off and on for years. The original title was The Kindness of Strangers. And we thought that was a little bit too and then so about the time later I started thinking, we were in conference together and I said I wanted to call it Shelter. So sabay-sabay kami na Google na ano nga ba ang Tagalog ng shelter. So Google Shelter Tagalog and Silong came up. And I think Jeffrey was the one who was like, that's it, that's the one. Because it's like Silong, ang Silong, Silongin mo ako, Silong tayo, or whatever. But then eventually Silong was chosen, and then
okay.
So we thought, but then since I'm pretty much Bisaya, Ilonggo, and Cebuano also at the same time, I was like, that's interesting that we chose that title because of my ramifications.
Because of Google.
Yeah, no, so pretty much I remember na.
Okay, so Shelter pa lang Silong. Now I know. Okay, Mami Jo, go ahead.
Ano daw ibig sabihin sa Bisaya?
Sa Bisaya daw, Direk, ano ang ibig sabihin ng Silong? Sa Ilonggo.
Nasa Google po. Panoorin niyo ba yung pelikula sa September 17? Sasagutin niyo po yung tanong. Okay. Manood kayo sa September 16, September 17, ipopost ko sa Twitter.
Meron namang may wifi tayo ngayon kapamilya event, so i-google nyo na. Ayan. Mami Jo, go ahead for your more questions.
Ang susunod ko pong tanong ay, ano po sa palagay nyo, kasi ang Silong, sa Silong ay madilim. Ang kadiliman ng medyo madilim din yung paglalahad ng kwento ng pelikula. Ano po sa palagay niyo what makes the Filipino darkness different from the other countries' darkness in narrating a story in a film?
So the creator should answer this. Okay, Direct Jeffrey. How...
I'm stumped.
Spell. Etching Chu.
I don't know. Hindi I guess the Filipino flavor you will see siguro sa the interiors of the house, the exteriors of the house, yung mannerisms ng characters, yung kanilang mga rituals and stuff. We really didn't think of it that way. May sariling brand of Filipino brand of darkness. It's more of like a Hidalgo brand of darkness.
Ano na, gusto ko yun.
I love that question actually. So I'll try my best to answer it. Okay, I was having a conversation with somebody recently about how fear changes depending on your culture, and what was interesting about it is that that's why the horror changes. There's an Asian flavor for horror. There's an American flavor for horror, and during our conversation, the studies show that fear for Filipinos is rooted in sin, right? So there is this certain amount of fearfulness of divine retribution, and your fear that you are yourself becoming sinful, which I think is pretty much a theme in the film as well. So there is so the concepts of spiritual darkness and the concepts of physical darkness are I think now that you bring it up, sige, let's pretend that we thought of that and then we'll take credit for it. Thank you very much. But yeah, so
Okay.
That deserves a slow clap, right? Good job.
Nasagot naman, Mami Jo, yung kaguluhan sa isip, kadiliman sa isip mo. Okay, you're done? Okay, the next question will come. Dito muna, I'd like to, bago si Jude ha, si Ruel Villacorta has a question with his new Samsung phone.
Mawawala rin.
Kay Papa P,
Papa mo.
nabanggit kasi kanina nung dalawang direktor na naghati-hati sa mga eksena. Napaka-controversial yung shower scene ba yun? Nakita ang puwet mo. Ako hindi ko napanood pa kasi.
Ako rin, hindi ko pa rin napanood. Sabay ko.
Oo. Exciting ba talaga?
Not because of the scene. Not because of that, but I don't know what... Si Jeffoy kasi, while I was doing it, sabi niya, bro, pwede ba ibaba pa? Okay, bro, medyo mababa na. Hindi naman makikita, baba pa ng konti. Bro, mababa na. So hindi ko na nakita ko lang siya sa pelikula.
In-approve mo ha, pinakita mo sa'yo ha.
Pero hindi ko na maalam
Ako, bilang babae.
Yes, yan. Sige, ano reaction mo nung nakita mo? O habang ginagawa niyo
Natuwa naman ako. Oo. Natuwa naman ako. Napakaganda ng visuals. Very, diba? Kailangan sa storya yun eh.
Actually, sa first time mo siya mapanood, shocking. Pero nung napanood ko ng pangalawang beses, parang wala naman. Okay na rin naman.
kasi po yung puwet ni Piolo po, symbolic yun sa pinagdadaanan ng Pilipinas ngayon. So symbolic siya ng ekonomiya. So parang sa sa gobyerno, kalahati lang nakikita natin sa mga totoong nangyari. Pero yun.
At bawat may reaction. Tungkol sa puwet, na symbolic.
There are ups and downs.
Curves and ganyan.
I don't know what to say.
Yun na yun.
What was that? Ano symbol?
Ano, kasi Papa P.
Kasi may divide eh. May
Wala ko alam, sorry. Hindi ko lang para sa
Tama na, next question. Kawawa naman, grabe.
Anyway, Papa P, kasi di ba halos dalawa yata ang pelikula mo? Hindi, itong Silong at yung isa with John Lloyd Cruz. Ano ba to? Medyo nagsawa ka na sa pagka-commercial actor mo.
Honestly, until now, I'm still basking in that glory, after breakup. And then I did Hele. The day after breakup playlist was shown in theaters. And then Silong finally comes out in Cinemalaya. So it just all fell into place. And I feel so blessed about it. Pero wala naman pong inisip na gawin ko na sabay-sabay yung magkakasunod. Parang it just all fell into place and it just happened one by one, one after the other. So nakakatuwa lang tingnan, and you get to do different roles. So pelikula pa.
Anong next one mo? Anong next aim mo sa career mo? Kasi nandiyan ka niya eh. Box office, maganda yung mga indie films mo, pinag-uusapan.
Hindi ko alam. Joyce and I have been, Direct Joyce Bernal and I have been doing a lot of meetings with different producers, different writers, and also with my other partner from Spring Film, si Erickson Raimundo, and also with Jello actually. There are so many concepts that parang ang sarap gawin into a movie, pero bottom line kasi support ng audience ang kailangan mo Kailangan may consumption ng audience para magkaroon ka ng budget para hindi masunog yung producer, para makagawa ka pa ng mga ganung pelikula. If you ask me, in the span of almost 20 years in this industry, I haven't done even 2 dozens once a year. So there are still more roles that I can probably do. But it depends. Like I was in London a couple of days ago and I thought of an idea and hopefully it materializes. More like
idea, Papa? Share your copy.
More like not necessarily true to life story kasi baka magkademandahan, more in fiction para mas safe, pero something more intriguing and interesting. Mga ganun, that fuels me up. I don't know what my purpose is or what else I'm supposed to do in this business. Masaya lang po ako sa mga dumarating sa akin. Pero I think, in all honesty, I'm so passionate with the films I get to do because it's an expression. And that journey, I enjoy. I always enjoy the journey of the story, the character. And I hope I get to do more roles na ganito, katulad nito sa Silong, katulad nito sa Breakup, mapa mainstream, mapa indie. I guess the more important thing is that you're still interesting, na mas pinapanood ka pa rin ng tao dahil maganda yung ginagawa mo. So yun lang po siguro yung sa akin.
Another 20 more years. Ilan taon ka?
38. So, pag 40, sana ano, EJ? Thank you.
Papapi, hawak mo na rin lang ng mic, di ba? Gusto kong tanongin, bakit mas the actors, yung mga Filipino actors more than the babae, ang nag-i-indie, gumagawa like John Lloyd, ikaw, Coco, paminsan-minsan na lang. But sa babae, wala yung mga angels, sila Angel Locsin, they're not into that, sila. Bakit kaya mas passionate ang mga
gusto nila, wala lang siguro silang oras. Actually, I would talk to Bea, I would talk to
Bea, tama.
Yeah, even Angelica. Angelica, tadhana, di ba?
Ayun pala.
It depends. It depends naman kung... kasi parang, in all honesty, parang mas maganda kung wala ng, walang disparity. Wala ng difference between indie and mainstream because nowadays halos pareho na rin ang budget eh. When we did Kimidora, ang budget namin pang mainstream pero it was perceived to be an indie film. So that's what we want to do para mapa-indie man yan. Tagdahana was an indie film but it grossed more than 200. Mas mataas pa sa mainstream. So I guess, I hope magkaroon na enlightenment yung mga artista because yung puso ng pelikula nasa indie. I'm not saying I'm a mainstream actor pero dapat sana mag-merge or magkaroon ng unity para at least yung support na nakukuha ng mainstream makuha rin ng indie. So yung mga artista hindi lang iisipin na porket indie yun, hindi nila tatanggapin because ang sarap gumawa ng indie.
Ayun, okay. Bago kay Alan D at saka kay Jude, here's a question. Dito na rin lang naman si Glenn Rigondola. Glenn, magtanong ka.
Yeah, Piolo. Since yun, na-prove na yung sarili mo sa box office star, and then now you're doing good films, wala ba sa lining mo na maging director one of these days?
Wala talaga eh. Producer lang talaga. I mean, masyado akong nag-enjoy sa pag nakakagawa ako ng pelikula. As an actor, as a producer, as a director, mas malaki ang kita ng artista sa bato mo. Not for anything. Ang hirap maging director. Nando ka sa pre-prod, nando ka bago mag-start yung pelikula. Sa shooting, nando ka pag matapos, tapos pati sa post-prod. Kapag artista, punta ka lang sa shooting, tapos na, di ba? Tapos promo ka na. Wala, I don't think I have that gift. I don't think that's my calling. So, I'm not even entertaining the thought.
Okay, thank you.
Ito, first time pa lang natanong yung first time yan sinagot. Thank you, Glenn. Okay, si Jude muna. Jude, you have a question, no? Wilbur? Ay, nga na naman.
Eugene asks.
Okay, sige. Sunod-sunod ng last three na to. Go ahead, Jude.
I have two questions for the directors. Kasi before may Dahas, which is Maricel Soriano and Richard Gomez. How different is this from Dahas? Kasi it's parang ganun din naman yung tema. And yung second question ko kay Miss Rhian, you mentioned kasi na apart from being a gentleman kay Piolo, what have you learned about Piolo as an actor?
Okay, si Jeff muna between Dahas and Silong.
Silong. Buti na lang napanood ko yung Dahas. Sino nga ba director nun?
Hindi Hindi rin. Ishmael Bernal. Masyado ba yun? Sige, go.
Well, anyway,
Google natin.
I remember, buti na lang napanood ko yung pelikula.
Chito Ronyo.
Tama. Chito Ronyo. Yeah, napanood ko yung pelikula yun. Maganda yun. Gusto ko din yung pelikula nila. Richard Gomez, Maricel, tama diba? Malayo. Una-una, I think Silong is really meant to be a small film talaga eh. Na, yun nga, it's really just about these two characters and most of the things that are happening in the house. Which is actually like the third character. So the Silong is the third character of the house talaga. The movie. Iba din siya, I guess, mas twisted pa to kaysa doon. Yun nga, I'm gonna go back dun sa mga feedback na nakuha namin na parang people who've seen the film really enjoyed it kasi parang while watching the film you'd be expecting something pero biglang babasagin yung expectations mo. So, yun. So I guess yun yung difference niya dun sa but I love the hashtag.
Okay, Rhian, the question is how the learnings from Piolo Pascual.
Ano ba? Well, he's so intense and his focus pretty much never breaks. With me kasi it's a little different. Before I do a scene, I'm really in my head and I get nervous about doing a scene, especially when it's important to me, when I feel like I'm gonna have a hard time maybe. I get very nervous beforehand and I don't see that happen with him. The second you hear action, he doesn't really take much time to warm up into the scene. He's intense right away. Which I don't have also. It takes me a while to warm up into what's happening in the scene. Parang I wait for the scene to tell the story. So with him at first, it was kind of disarming actually because I felt like, man, this guy's so good and he's so focused, he's gonna eat me alive. This movie is going to end my career. But afterwards, it's because he was so convincing to me. It later on became easy when I forgot about all the back part where you think of what you're gonna look like in the movie or any kind of comparison like that. You just go into a scene and believe it's happening. It becomes simple like that, and I guess that's the practice and learning that I got from this movie. Not to think about it don't overly think about it. Just go into it and then look into his eyes and believe. Ayan.
Okay. Thanks, Rhian. And now, the question from Alan Diones. Ayan si Alan.
Diyos ko sa wakas. Okay, Jepoy. Jep, congrats ha. Meron ka ng pelikula. Ito ba yung first feature film?
First directorial ko to.
Ano yung mga na-direct mo? Nag-music video ka na before. Ano yung mga nagawa mo ng dinirect mo?
Ngayon yung mga nag-air na dinirect ko yung sa GMA Records.
Kanino?
Maaari ba ni Beverly Cayman yung kay James Wright? Ikaw yun.
Puro sa kabila. So nakailang music videos ka na? Na na-direct?
Madami na. Kasi from Mang Inasal to Star Records to may mga nagawa na din ako.
Mang Inasal? Nag-TVC ka na?
Yun yung mga music videos that you'll see in the stores na it's part of the music advocacy campaign ng Mang Inasal. I did yung kay Arnie, yung sa Kiss Jane, kay Sheng Belmonte.
So marami-rami ka ng music videos na nagawa. Tapos,
Tapos, I also did a reality show sa Studio 23, yung gusto ko maging beauty queen. And then now, I'm also directing this sports talk show sa Fox Sports, The GOAT. With Suzy, si Nico Ramos, si Casey Montero.
So TV shows ka na rin pala.
Pero hindi pa drama. I'll be... I'm directing an episode sa Wagas soon.
Talaga? Wow!
What's wagas?
Sa kabila rin kasi yun, EJ, so hindi mo alam.
Saan siya? Po nga ako eh.
Oo, yun nga.
Wala pang offer ang
magparinig ka para
Noted.
Ayun. So tapos talagang dream mo, Jepoy, na maging filmmaker, maging pelikula ang i-direct, gano'n. Tapos,
yes. Yun nga, sinasabi ko nga ito na parang syempre after Smoky Mountain, nung
Smoky Mountain ka ba? Charot.
Wow, Alan. Pero, syempre, nung nag-solo na ako, na-offer na ako agad ng Viva, tapos, di ba, nag-start din ako, madami din ng mga movies na ginawa, and I did some teleseries, guestings on TV. Pero nung nag-start talaga yun, pag may makakuha akong script, pag laging excited ako, binabasa ko yan. Kahit hindi lang yung role ko, binabasa ko yung buo.
Dinidirect mo sa utak mo?
Yun nga, nadidirect ko na sa utak ko yung mga nababasa kong script.
Talaga?
Tapos pagdating ko doon sa set, syempre hindi naman palaging bida ako, kadalasan naman support. So ang daming downtime. Yung downtime na yun, hindi ako nag-hangout lang, hang around. Pinapanood ko yung kung ano nangyayari, inaalam ko yung mga nangyayari sa behind the scenes. Naging interesado talaga ako. So yun yung ginawa kong kind of my film school.
Wow. Tapos alam naman namin talagang close friends kayo ni PJ, di ba? So, ang lakas mo rin talaga sa kanya dahil nakuha mo siya for this, di ba? Talagang hindi naman siya madalas din mag-indie. So, nung pinitch mo talagang go agad siya. Ganun na usapan.
I guess siguro nakatulong din yun. Pero palagay ko din dahil sa strength of the material, maganda kasi yung material, talagang nagustuhan niya na kakaiba. I don't think din naman kung hindi maganda yung material, kahit kaibigan ko yan, hindi oo yan.
Talaga ba?
Very intelligent actor talaga si Peach.
Oo. Tapos, hindi ka na-inep kasi 2 years ago na nga to, di ba? So, tama lang ba yung timing? Tapos, okay din na kinuha kayo ng Star to distribute?
Oo, but I can't ask for anything more. Grabe yung naging timing nung paglabas nitong Silong. Una-una, nakapasok kami sa Cinemalaya as closing film. And this is our first film, di ba? Ito yung directorial debut namin. Tapos, ang nag-open sa Cinemalaya si Brillante Mendoza, so parang wow.
Pinipili yun, di ba? Hindi lang sila basta nagpapalabas, pinipili rin nila.
Yes, pinipili yun ng Cinemalaya Screening Committee. So, yun pa lang, it was a big honor. Tapos, syempre, the buzz that we got after the Cinemalaya screening, tapos na-pick up kami ng Star Cinema. Saan ka pa? Wala talaga. Ibang klase, blessing talaga to. I think, yun nga, almost 2 years is worth the wait. Saktong-sakto tong timing nito.
Oo, tapos kami kalaban niyo si Brillante sa September 16. Di ba? Tapatan Indie Films.
Presscon na ba yun, Alan?
Binanggit ni Tito Mario. Hindi ko naman si Tito Mario.
Ito, may Presscon.
Thank you, Jepoy. Kay Rhian.
Ayan, si Rhian.
Girl, kamusta? First time mo tumungtong sa bakuran ng ABS. Kamusta ang feeling mo?
I used to go to high school here. They had a distance learning center.
DLC.
So for the last 2 years of my high school, when I started working na, I needed to homeschool. So I would go here for exams. That was it. But that's in the building where they do mix.
Kaklase mo si John Pratt, Stefano Mori, tsaka si Carlo Aquino.
Ang throwback!
Hindi kami magka-batch, pero I heard they went there.
Tapos iba yung, syempre ngayon, yun nga, bilang artista ka na sa kabila, tapos tumungtong ka ulit dito. Bilang star ka nung,
It was nice to come in this time na pinapasok ako ng guards without a problem.
Hindi ka hinarang,
Because when I was a student, ibang story yan. Ayun, wala. Masaya naman ako. Everyone, so far with cinema, kasi I've been doing the mall shows also with them, hindi naman nila ako tinatrato na others. So, I feel happy naman to be here and I feel good and everyone's very nice to me. Even the security here is super nice.
At saka masarap yung feeling, Rhian, bilang artista kasi isa ka sa mapapalad na mga kapuso stars na nakapag, di ba, may pelikulang i-release ng
Ding
star.
Dong, Dennis, Rhian.
Hindi, konti lang kayo, girl.
Hindi naman talaga, hindi siya isang opportunity na nakukuha ng kahit sinong, even if you're an artist of ABS-CBN to do a movie with someone from GMA, or me as a GMA artist to do a movie with someone from ABS, and for that pa to be distributed by Star Cinema. It's really siguro not a normal occurrence.
Diba?
So, swerte ako na na-experience ko siya.
Oo, tapos Rhian, nung bagets-bagets ka, kasi parang lahat naman nagkaroon ng crush kay Piolo. Was there a time na, or naging crush mo ba siya ever? Sa totoong buhay?
Ngayon pa lang.
Talaga? After working? Bakit? Hindi nga.
So, yun. Hindi, before kasi, aga girl ako growing up. Kasi, siya din yung favorite ng yaya ko.
Aga mula.
Oo, so, parang na-brainwash niya na din yata ako. Pareho kaming aga crazy. Anyway, but now, because we've met, or not naman just because of that, you're very guapo naman even from afar. But, just now because we've met and he has a really nice personality and good sense of humor and everything. Yun.
Oo, yun nga. Ano yung na-discover mo, Rhian, na pinaka-gusto mong ugali niya? Yung bilang tao, yung behind the camera, hindi yung bilang artista.
Bilang animal, Charles.
Hindi. He's very spontaneous. He's very spontaneous. When he decides to do things, it's usually last minute.
Like ano yan?
Huh?
Like what?
I don't know. Like for example, after our Cinemalaya premiere, we did have an official after party.
Ayun.
And then we all know, I mean, all of us naman, we all have work every day. And so, whatever chance we get to rest, we want to naman, diba? And then out of nowhere, he's just like, let's go to another after party. And then we were all like, okay. So we were all game. And then it's just spontaneous.
Thank you. Hey PJ, Piolo, so ito yung first time ever na nagpakita ka ng puwet sa pelikula. Tama ba? O nagpakita ka na ba before?
Sa dekada 70.
Ay, oo! Yeah, parang mas malala yun, di ba?
My Naked Glory.
Oo. So ito, ano yung dito? Half lang ba? Ano yung
pisngi?
Pisngi.
Hindi naman.
Ano ba? Kalahati nung 2 pisngi, ganun ba? Jepoy?
Depende sa bayad sa pelikula.
Half ano ka na ba dito? Half TF? Half TF?
Hindi yung manonood.
Oo, so nagawa mo na pala before, hindi naman pala bago. Pero, oo, binubugbog ka naman noon, dun sa eksena sa torture scene, dito. Oo, dito love scene na,
Nakakaya kasi kay Rhian I mean,
bakit?
For whatever she's given, whatever she's, whatever she committed to doing para sa pelikula, parang kailangan mo rin na, kasi one thing I gotta explain about those scenes is, even the love scene, we're both very intense characters, so you have to show that, even in other scenes.
So intense love scene din?
Ergo, we had to do a very intense love scene because of our twisted personalities.
Twisted love scene din ang naganap.
Pwede.
Ay, teka. PJ, sandali, pakibalik mo na kay Rhea. Rhea, kamusta pala yung love scene? How would you describe yung love scene with Piolo? Kung yung intense pala siya.
Okay naman.
Okay, sige, okay. Hindi, kamusta siya bilang ka-love scene?
Hindi ko maalala. Humingi ako ng wine. I'm sorry.
Talaga ba?
Hindi ko kinaya kasi grabe lang kasi yung treatment na pinag-usapan namin beforehand. Sabi ko, ganun talaga, direct? Kasi first love scene ko siya, so it's
ever sa movie?
Ever.
Oo.
And then, idagdag mo pa na ganung klaseng love scene pa siya. Ayun, I was just really nervous. I said wine in my tent.
So ilang ka ng wine? Ilang shots ka?
Just half a glass.
Wow! Nag-half a glass ka, ha? Tapos, kamusta siya yung sa love scene ninyo?
Yung scene mismo kasi hindi ko lang maalala eh. Naalala ko lang
dahil sa wine?
Na kino-cover up niya lang ako pagka-cut. For the actual movements that we did in the scene, I don't really remember how that played out.
Actual movements. Okay. Thank you, Rhian.
At least I'm honest. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Oo, Piolo dun sa, may nag-spoiler kasi dito kanina, kinuwento na yung ending ng movie. So, paano mo yung impacto niya? Secret. Tapos, how did you enjoy yung eksena, yun nga, yung twisted, lalo na doon sa ending na yun, ganun yung nangyari no, sa inyong dalawa, pareho pala kayong ganon. So, oo, may pinag ka ba doon na kung sino man, Piolo, na napanood mo dati na ginagawa yung ganong scene? Ano yung na-feel mo doon sa... Kasi hindi yung pakaraniwang ginagawa mo bilang romantic leading man ka lagi.
Wala naman. It's just like what Ray said kanina. You just go through the journey and you just be there. You know, punta ka na lang doon. Huwag ka lang tumira doon kasi mahirap. Hindi ka makaalis, di ba? So, we just enjoyed it. I guess yun yung isa sa mga perks ng pagiging artista. You know, sa gumawa ka ng role na hindi mo ginagawa sa totoong buhay. Doon nang gagaling yung passion ko sa ginagawa ko because hindi naman ako ganun in real life. Wala rin akong pinipeg, hindi rin ako... I watch a lot of movies, I love watching movies, pero I try not to imitate or copy anyone's acting because I know I have my own expression. So mahirap pag may ginagaya ka. So I just go there, I just go with the flow and just be in the scene.
Oo, sabi mo hindi ka ganun in real life. Tatanong ko pa naman kung may twisted side ka rin ba as Piolo?
Hindi naman siguro ako mag-artista kung matino akong tao.
Kung ganun ang statement ko, so yung mga artista hindi matitinong tao yung mga yan.
Yeah, di ba? Hindi naman madaling mag-umarte. Pa-bipolar nga eh.
Piolo, bipolar. Alam na.
Like who? Naku, like who?
So may lahat naman may twisted side sa...
Lahat naman ng tao, I guess, it depends on the person if you're gonna tap that or if you even gonna entertain that.
Okay. So, EJ, last question na. Tanong ko na to kasi alis na kami, ha?
Go!
Oo, PJ,
parang alam ko na.
Oo, medyo maiba. Hindi, maganda naman, diba, good news naman. Nabanggit naman niya kanina yung London. So,
at saka Sunday naman, di ba?
Yes, oo, Sunday.
Ang daming disclaimer.
Oo, pinapunta nyo kami ng Sunday, di ba? So, siguro naman, pwede mo na sagot.
Magbigay tayo, Piolo. Magbigay tayo, Papa P.
Oo, maganda naman kasi PJ nangyari doon sa London, di ba? Nabanggit mo kanina yung London. So, naging okay kayo. Tapos, Casey tweeted about it pa, yung picture nyo. So, may happy moment na naganap doon. So, how was it?
Sige, mga camera.
Happy moment. I guess it was just magnified sa social media because Christina and I are actually okay.
Actually, since
even before
February pa.
Yeah, London. Ever since her lola passed, we kind of broke the ice already when I sent my condolences. And then, ayun, and when we would see each other, okay naman kami. Siguro we just had a chance to talk lengthily. Nagkaroon kami ng oras para we didn't even talk about the past. I mean, parang how are you na, this and that. So, ganun lang. And it was a happy moment. Parang ang sarap kasi it's a thorn off your chest para sa payapaan na rin ng mga tao, para sa ekonomiya, di ba? So, yun. Parang sa akin, maraming humihingi sa Instagram. I mean, ang dami pa rin yung mga love teams namin. So parang,
oo nga, oo.
Pag nakita mo yung comments sila, parang
correct,
pati sila nabunutan ng tinek. So, ang saya lang makapagpasaya ng tao. Miski okay naman talaga kami. Pero at least for their peace of mind, nakita nila na we're really okay.
Oo. Hindi kasi namin alam yan, PJ. Kumbaga may ginawa ka palang effort na without the public knowing, nung namatay si Mami Elaine. So, ilang months ago na yun matagal-tagal na rin kayo okay.
Na, yeah, and this is a very small circle, we work, at the same station, so hindi naman pwedeng hindi kayo magpansinan, so we get to see each other, we get to say hi to each other, pero I guess that was just the first time that we were able to really talk and bond.
Maganda yun kasi wala na kayong awkwardness if ever sa ASAP you can do prod together na.
That's right.
Diba? Tapos maybe even a project ulit.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay na, di ba?
On a Sunday.
Last na lang. Tapos kasi ngayon nga, may poll yung mga nag-poll sa mga, nag-survey sa mga fans nyo. Kayo yung pair na gusto nilang, number ng top na pinakagusto nilang magbalikan. Anong reaction?
That's right.
On a Sunday, that's right.
On a Sunday.
Why
not? I mean,
why not? Sa balikan.
Yeah. I mean, napakaliit naman ng mundo eh. I mean, at the end of the day, in all honesty, ayokong may kaaway, ayokong may kagalit, ayokong may iniiwasan, ayokong may bawal dito or ang daming concerns. Parang happy lang lahat, you know. Trabaho lang, you know, if you have to do it, bigyan ng istasyon, syempre, ayoko lang talaga na may issue. So okay lang sa akin.
Oo, open ka sa balikan.
On a Sunday.
Okay. Thank you, PJ. Thank you.
Okay. For the last question, siguro, si Mr. Asis ba? Ready na? Or the last question will come from Mr. Pablo Tariman, siguro. Okay.
Okay. Ako na muna. Anyway, halos lahat ng tanong na ni Alan. Salamat, Alan. Anyway, ano lang yung Silong, gusto ko lang, yung on my own, i-define kasi hindi siya shelter kasi yung shelter is a house. Ang Silong is a part of the shelter, which is yung ilalim ng bahay. Whether it's covered or not, it's Silong.
It's so complicated now na.
Hindi. Silong talaga is under the house. Pag may cover, basement na siya. Yun. Anyway, my question is for...
Thank you for that, Mr. Asis.
Oo. Anyway, my question is for Piolo. Ito bang ginagawa mo? Gumagawa ka ng mga indie films? Sinasadya mo ba yan para... Kasi sinasabi na iba, hindi naman talaga kumikita yung mga indie films, di ba? So parang dinadivert mo yung sarili mo para maiba yung image mo doon sa anak mo na si Inigo. Na in all fairness, siya mismo may sariling may angas talaga. So parang without you, parang he would make it on his own. So parang iniiba mo yung image mo. Ganun ba yun?
First of all, this movie came about 2 years ago, even before he started out in the business. And with Hele, sa Hiwagang Hapis with Love Diaz, it was an opportunity na hindi ko po pwedeng pakawalan, of course, working with John Lloyd. There's no any conscious effort from my end to do something different because my job as an actor is to do roles na talaga magcha-challenge sa akin. I'm just happy and content with what I have with the station, with ABS-CBN, that even if I am under contract, exclusive contract with ABS, they allow me to do things that I really want to do out of the box, just to, you know, give me the chance to diversify. But career-wise, hindi ko naman po iniisip na gawin yung para mapaiba ako sa anak ko because I really enjoy what I do. Sometimes, miski wala akong tulog, para lang mapagbigyan mo ang isang proyekto na gustong-gusto mo, gagawin mo kasi mahal mo yung ginagawa mo. Not because I want my career to advance. It's also hard to do something like this because sometimes, more often than not, hindi na nakikita ng maraming tao yung ginagawa mo, especially indie films. And that's what I wanna, I guess, put out there, you know, in our community kasi napakandaming magagandang konsepto sa indie films na hindi napapanood ng mga tao. So yun po yung sanang gusto kong gawin na if you guys watch mainstream movies of mainstream actors, then there are also legitimate films that are worth your 2 hours in a day that you have to see for yourself. So if that's my way of reaching out to the community, to the audiences na para mas maging interesting pa yung indie, I'll do everything I can kahit mahirap po sa schedule. But not because I want to advance my career. Gusto ko lang po talaga bigyan ng oportunidad like even the new directors, the new breed. Parang si Antoinette Hadaone na marami rin ng mga konsepto. Kasi para magkaroon naman po ng interest yung mga tao, hindi lang puro rom-coms yung napapanood natin. So going back to your question to Eugene, I just love what I do. Hindi ako mag-iisip ng gumawa ng isang bagay para mapaiba ko sa anak ko because I would also want him to experience different roles, different movies, and to really spread his wings on his own, not because I'm his father. And I'll be happy for him because I'm his biggest fan. Kung ano mo maging achievement ng anak ko, it's also my achievement.
Okay, yun. Thank you very much. Para kay Rhian, kasi may wala na siyang film arm. So, ano na lang?
Film legs na lang.
Film legs na lang.
Charot lang.
Fingers na lang. Anyway, so you're free to do other projects with other film productions?
I have a exclusive contract only for entertainment. TV, entertainment, the TV. As for film, I haven't been exclusive with any film outfit for years. So yeah, I'm enjoying naman the freedom to go around and do different kinds of films. I think every producer also has a forte, diba? And ayun, I get to experience so much.
So, pwede kang gumawa sa under mainstream star cinema?
I suppose, kasi wala akong exclusivity in terms of films.
Kasi sayang, you're one of the most beautiful actresses.
And if you watch this, I'm sorry to cut you to Jun, if you watch this, she's wow. Ang sarap ng panoorin sa pelikulang to.
Actually, napanood ko siya, kaya gusto ko.
Ibang diba? She's a delight to watch. Yun yung mga maganda panoorin sa big screen.
I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Halimbawa ba riyan, kung hindi si Piolo yung ka-eksena mo dun sa eksena na yun, gagawin mo ba yung eksena?
Ayoko na.
Wow.
Hindi, dalawa lang.
My statement.
The number one thing, yung una talagang nangyari is they showed me the script before even telling me who else was going to be in it. They sent me the script, actually, through email, and I read it, and in 2 days, I already wanted to do it, and they told me who else was doing it, and then I was like, that's an amazing bonus. No offense, sorry.
Okay.
I don't want you to feel like a product. I'm very sorry.
Thank you. So good. Nag-audition ka for the role. How did you get your part here? Handpicked ka ba by the producer?
Yes, si Jeff.
Okay.
Kasi lately I've been doing, at that time I was concentrating on music again.
Pero theater kasi experience mo, di ba?
Yes, theater, music, and this is a great project to be back in something like this. And I realized na geared pala ako dito sa mga ganitong type of projects, movie, film, and it is true what they say. If there's a great director, if there's a great cast, they can bring the best out of you, and they brought the best out of me in this film.
You've done a lot of indie films before.
Yes, right now I just finished a film where it's my first leading role.
Wow,
I play a priest kasi dati I was supposed to join the seminary school, so I actually
As in real life?
In real life, so may background din ako dito. So it's another film, another take on my acting, and it's good also. So sana.
Sino producer no?
It's the Catholic Church, actually, the Church of Rome dito. So it's gonna be good.
Parang ano pala, Iglesia, Felix Manalo.
Pero
hindi naman gano'n ang campaign.
Si Jeff and Roy really good. Jeff dabbles in so much. You can tell si Roy din, writer, director. Jeff naman, I'm so proud of this guy. Because music, he's even producing my album, also helping me produce my album right now.
And you're close to Arnie din, di ba?
Yes,
Arnie Dalto.
So he's doing a lot, and you guys will be so surprised.
Yeah, thank you. And this just info, this would make the producers and the actors happy. Silong will be shown in 100 cinemas on Wednesday. So mainstream siya as far as exhibition is concerned. Commercial run is...
Anong lesson natutunan niyo sa paggawa ng project na to? Tsaka, I'm just curious, how early were you involved in filmmaking? Si Mr. Roy, and then ano yung views niyo on indie film versus vis-a-vis the mainstream, and what do you think is the future of indie film in this country?
Sorry, the first question was my history in filming. Believe it or not, I started out as an actor.
Parang kaya ka pala familiar.
Pero ano yun pero pinahubad nila ako. Pero,
ay, ano ba yun?
Pero, I started out on stage. I did a lot of theater. And pretty much, I wrote a lot of films. I've written several. And so this is the first time that I'm directing a film with Jeffrey. So yun ang extent ng direct ako ng plays, and I did a couple of short films. I wrote and directed a couple of them before this. The next question was about independent films versus mainstream. I think that in the Philippines in particular, very interesting ang nangyari sa independent cinema because it started out as an alternative to the studio system, because it was an opportunity for people to see films that normally are not we don't normally see, like I said earlier, there is a certain formula that the mainstream cinema follows. So it means that a lot of people who wanted to tell different kinds of stories couldn't get work because it doesn't really fit the formula. And then so people started venturing out even with homemade cameras, like non-professional cameras, and just like with their friends. Galing no homemade cameras. Pero when the revolution of independent cinema started in the 2000s, I think it addressed a lot of dissatisfaction in the audience that they never realized, oh, that film could be so much more. And then there were so many stories that we could tell, and that there were so many topics that we could discuss. And so that went on, and that's still going on today. But I think mainstream and indie are learning from each other. Mainstream cinema is expanding the way that they tell stories as well. It's like, yes, you have the romantic comedies, but you have the horrors. But this time I've noticed that mainstream cinema themselves have become dissatisfied with telling the same story. Independent cinema naman, it used to be just a venue for people to talk about things that were taboo, but now realize that it could be an opportunity, a gateway for them to be involved in mainstream cinema. And like PJ said, actually I agree. I hope, my hope for the future is that this distinction disappears, right? I hope that someday there will be no distinction between a mainstream film and an independent film, that there will be people producing smart content, that there will be actors who will be involved in challenging roles. The most dangerous thing that a cinematic industry can experience is stagnation. Once you start doing the same thing over and over again and you think it's easy, talo ka na. I think that the moment that you feel making a film is easy and it's something that you can just do at a snap of a finger, then you're doing something wrong. It is a challenge, and it has to be a challenge, because that's when your passion gets involved, and that's when we start
film directing or anything like that.
Yes, well, I believe so, sana. But at the same time, syempre, I haven't really turned my back on singing. I still sing. I produce. I write songs for Star Records, also for other artists. I'm still very much involved in music. But then, being a director is really one of my greater passions in life. And when I went to Abu Dhabi and took the short course in filmmaking sa New York Film Academy there, that's when I realized that this is what I really wanted to do long term, for the rest of my life. Aside from singing, I was really passionate in making films. Yung aming DOP, lahat, AD, lahat kami, we really contributed something into making this this project, I guess, polished and enjoyable for everyone. And I guess yun yung natutunan ko, na parang to be collaborative all the time. So that's what I'm gonna be continuing on doing in my next projects. And to add naman to what Roy discussed about the difference between indie and mainstream, yun nga, nag-strike sa akin yung one conversation that I had with Piolo, which is actually very enlightening. Na yun nga, sayang kasi parang there's so much good indie movies sa Pilipinas na hindi nakikita, na hindi napapanood ng tao. And I'm I guess really proud of this team na parang we took this indie route the right way, na parang kasi nung din-develop namin to when we started when me and Darlene started this project, nag-isip talaga kami ng something, syempre una to be a calling card for me as a director, but at the same time syempre something na pwede siya mag-start as indie pero pwedeng cross over to mainstream. And yun nga, I think we were all successful in doing that. And so sana nga yun yung hope namin for the indie producers, indie filmmakers, na parang mas maging ganun yung mindset. Hindi lang, but syempre that's why there's Cinemalaya, that's why there's Cinema One, that's why there's Cine Filipino, all these other film festivals, which we are very thankful for, na that gives avenues to all these indie filmmakers to make amazing, groundbreaking content. But at the same time, sana nga, yun nga, mag-isip din tayo ng mga bagong concepts na usually hindi nakikita sa mainstream cinema. Na eventually, we are hoping that with Silong, we will be able to set a trend na parang, nag-work din pala yung mga ganitong concepts. And hopefully, even the big studios like Star Cinema will be more open to doing more diverse stuff. Not just, syempre, I respect the kind of formula that they want and make for their films, diba? Pero yun nga, I hope na with them getting us and distributing us, parang it will open avenues to different, more cutting edge, a bit darker, or basta something na out of the ordinary na palagi na natin nakikita. Sana it opens avenues for those kinds of films.
Okay. Ay, inabutan tayo ng merienda. And with that last question, okay.
But to ano lang, every year kasi Star Cinema distribute siguro mga 2 to 3 indie films. So at least at that point, at that certain di ba, we try to have the indie film industry as much as possible.
Oo nga, the mainstream Star Cinema supporting the indie industry. Naku, indie industry,
Yeah, sobrang thank you talaga Star Cinema. Tapos grabe, 100 cinemas pa.
Correct.
So, syempre,
usually 60-65 lang yan.
Nag-invite ako. So, to all our guests, please help us promote this film para talagang mas ma-enjoy ng mas madaming tao. Na parang yun nga, I hope you write about us para na something na medyo kakaiba na palagi namin may enjoy naman ng karamihan para mas madami ang makapanood ng Silong. And of course, syempre, yun nga, sana nga it will open doors also to other indie filmmakers na pwedeng ma-distribute ng Star, di ba? Na yun nga, mabibigyan din ng chance kagaya namin.
I'd just like to say that I think one of the very first indicators that we have that we felt na we were successful. Kahit dito na lang, we feel that we've succeeded. The very first sign we had is when Star Cinema showed faith in us to be involved. And we really, really, para sa amin, it's, yun na yun eh. I mean, we really appreciate Star Cinema being part of this, and everybody involved has been so generous. And thank you so much.
Alright, thank you.
Team, thank you.
And of course, we'd like to hear now from our executive producer, Angelo Santos. Santos nga ba? Tama.
So, ayan. This is siguro yung biggest opportunity na magpasalamat rin lahat sumusuporta. So, yun, thank you sa Star Cinema for giving us opportunity and having faith. Tapos sana, itong pelikula na to, above all, it's really entertaining above all. So, yun yung paniniwala ko. So, I hope na people who would watch not only would be, talking about it. At the end of the day, it's about entertaining them. Yun yung sinehan para sa akin. So, may mga lessons. It's really yung showmanship, yung craftsmanship na ginawa rin namin. It's for everyone to see it, to enjoy. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And of course, meron akong isang tumatak lang sa akin sa Presscon na to, what Piolo said, yung regardless kung mainstream or indie, dapat mawala na daw. Yung parang, I don't know, dapat mapanood siya ng lahat ng tao and gets promoted exactly the same. Ganon. Sorry. Okay. Siguro Gucci, let us thank everyone for coming on a Sunday. Everyone's here.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming on a Sunday.
Inulit mo lang yung sinabi ko. Sorry lang. Go Gucci.
Please, please invite everyone, all your friends, and please write about us. Let them know that this is a great movie, and it's a great representation of Filipino artistry. And I'm very proud to be a part of it. So thank you again.
Hey, good. And of course, the beautiful and smart Rhian Ramos.
Thank you so much everyone for coming. Kahit yung iba, napanood na nila yung movie, walang nagsabi na, kaya ko na yung sulat yan. You still came. Thank you so much. And ayun, thank you for helping us spread the word. We have 100 cinemas to fill. Help us. Thank you so much. Ayun, Piolo.
Okay, Papa P, go ahead.
Yes, maraming salamat once again for coming out on a Sunday kahit umuulan po. Yun lang, again, we'd like to ask for your support. Not just para sa pelikula, kundi para sa pelikulang Pilipino. Yun lang po, please spread the word and I hope you guys get to enjoy the film again if you sana pag napanood niyo ulit, just please spread the word. Thank you to Star Cinema also and of course on behalf of everyone, we'd like to thank you for supporting the film. Thank you, God bless. Thanks, Pap.
And we have a red carpet premiere on Tuesday, that's September 15, Cinema 7 of SM Mega Mall. Everyone's gonna be there. Okay, and the nationwide showing on September 16, the following day, that's over 100 cinemas nationwide. Have a good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming.